Miscellaneous exercise in chapter 2. First question, if you see children, there are two relations. Relation F defined as fx is equal to x square for the range 0 to 3 and 3x for 3 to 10. And another G1, the definition is same but the range is different. See, from 0 to 2 and from 2 to 10. So they're asking you which of this is a function. You have to rather show, they have already told you that f is a function and g is not. Y is for us to see. See children, now what are we going to observe here is, if you find f3 for this first function, f for f, okay, for f we are finding 3. So you see equal to sign here as well as here. So one f3 we can find from this definition, that is square, x square, okay. So that would be f3 would be 3 square. Whatever the number is, it's a square. It was said like that. So 3 square we know is 9. Now if you see this one, second definition, 3 into x. So if our x is 3, because 3 is also given here, so 3 into 3, that is also 9. Okay, so what are we seeing? 3 is mapped with 9. Okay, and for the rest of it, now if you see, these are all real functions children. Okay, so x, if not told, naturally it is going to be a real number. So if you consider any real number from 0 to 3, less than 3 rather I should say, at 3 we have already worked out, for rest of the values of x, this is acting as a polynomial x square. So square of a real number will give you another real number, and every as you keep changing a real number from here to here, the square would come out to be different. Okay, क्योंकि integers तो है नहीं, 0 to 3 range है. So for every particular real number you will get its square as some other real number. So यहाँ पे भी 1 1 mapping होगा. For the rest of it, any real number triple of one real number cannot be equal to some other real number, positive real number. Okay, so clearly we know this mapping f is clearly 1 1 mapping, means for every pre-image you are finding a specific image, no repetition of pre-images there. All right, so that is sufficient if you just show it for 3, because for rest of it it is obvious. ओके, सो बट ये 3 पे डेफिनेशन चेंज हो रही थी, या रादर 2 डेफिनेशंस थी, तो यहाँ पे हम क्रॉस चेक करेंगे. लाइकवाइज फॉर द अदर फंक्शन जी एक्स ऑल्सो वील डू द सेम. वी विल चेक इट एट 2. सो वील फाइंड f2. सो फ्रॉम हियर, बिकॉज यहाँ पे भी इक्वल टू था, तो 2 स्क्वायर विच इज 4. And here also we have x is equal to 2. So according to this definition, it should be 3 into 2, which is coming out to be 6. So clearly we are saying कि हमारा 2 4 से भी मैप हो रहा है एंड यहाँ पे 6 से भी हो रहा है. सो 4 and 6 have the same pre-image. So we said whenever pre-image should not repeat. Okay, pre-image should not come 2 times. Then it is not a function. Next, see second question children. That is quite simple. So I have not done it. You will solve it yourself. fx is equal to x square, the function given to you, and they are just asking you to evaluate this. So I don't think so that's a problem. F of 1.1. So you know that class 9 से आप ये करते आ रहे हो that if fx is x square, f of 1.1 would mean 1.1 square and f1 would mean minus of 1 square हो जाएगा. So it's simple, plus minus and quotient finding, so you can do it yourself. Now third one, if you see, you have to find the domain of this given function. So for that, okay, so here we have this function. Okay, so अब ये real functions हैं, तो हमने क्या बोला था कि domain is, we just remove all those x's जिसके लिए this is not defined or this cannot be evaluated or this doesn't come out to be any real number. So what do we know about real numbers? That in real numbers, division by 0 is not allowed. एक हमने पहले क्वेश्चंस करे थे, उसमें अंडर रूट आ रहा था, तो वी सेड अंडर रूट ऑफ नेगेटिव नंबर्स इज नॉट अलाउड, तो हमने उसमें पॉजिटिविटी कंस्ट्रेन लगा दिया था. अभी जब भी डिनोमिनेटर में आपके पास कोई एक्सप्रेशन आएगा, फ्रैक्शनल फॉर्म होगा, p by q रैशनल फॉर्म होगा, तो आपको क्या कंस्ट्रेन लगाना है, दैट डिनोमिनेटर शुड बी नॉन जीरो. Okay, so if you want to find the domain of this function, we would know that, as I've written here, for real numbers we know division by 0 is not allowed. So whatever was in denominator cannot be equal to 0. जब ये 0 हो जाएगा तो ये नॉट डिफाइंड हो जाएगा, तो वो हमारे डोमेन का पार्ट नहीं हो सकता है. गेट इट? फॉर रेस्ट ऑफ द एक्सेस दिस विल गिव अस अ डेफिनेट नंबर. सो वी वुड जस्ट पुट द डिनोमिनेटर एज नॉट इक्वल टू 0. ये क्वाड्रेटिक एक्सप्रेशन था, आप इसको फैक्टराइज कर दोगे. स्प्लिटिंग द मिडिल टर्म वी हैव डन. The two factors are coming as x minus 6 and x minus 2. So your two roots are x is equal to 6 and x is equal to 2. But यहाँ not equal to है. So Means whenever you put x is equal to 2, this denominator will become 0, and if you put x is equal to 6 also, then this denominator will be 0, and then fx will not be defined because division by 0 is not allowed. Okay, so यहाँ से आपको क्या conclusion मिल गया? That x cannot be 6 or 2. Okay, so what are we going to say? Domain of this function would be, we can accept all real numbers other than 2 and 6, because at 2 and 6 only this denominator becomes 0. Okay, so domain of this function would be all real numbers minus only 2 elements. So we write it this way. These 2 elements have to be excluded from all the set of real numbers. Rest everything will give us a valid answer. Okay. Now for question number 4, children, sorry. The function this time given to you is fx is equal to under root of x minus 1. And as I said, and we've done earlier also, that we know that this function will be defined only if what is inside the root has to be positive, because under root of negative numbers is not defined for real numbers. Okay, तो ऐसे वाले questions में क्या restriction लगता है? That the expression in the root sign, which was x minus 1, should be positive or at the most 0. So this will be greater than equal to 0. And that inequality can be solved. जैसे equations में we can take it to the other side. यहाँ 1 हम इधर लाएंगे, so positive 1 बन जाएगा, or rather we can say adding 1 both the sides. So this is equivalent to saying x is greater than equal to 1. So means for all x, and x out here represents automatically a real number, children, because we are saying these are real functions. So we had defined real functions like x and y, both image pre-image have to be real numbers. Okay, so yes, x is greater than equal to 1. For all these values, this function would be defined because the expression would be positive, and we can find under root of a positive number. So in interval form we can express this as, so the domain of this function is coming out to be x greater than equal to 1 is written as 1 will be included, so a rectangular bracket here, square bracket लगेगा यहाँ पे. Okay, क्योंकि 1 include करना है हमने, equal to sign था, and up to infinity all numbers greater than 1 will be your domain. And we also had to find the range for this function. Now for range, as again y, this image is y और fx is positive root. इसने positive root कहा है कि तो ये कोई भी positive number है, इसका under root will be some positive real number because बाहर से positive sign था. Alright, so all positive real numbers actually. Okay, so various values for this whole, so you can express your answer like this, that fx would come out to be a positive real number. Okay, ये image definition जो ये भी expression है, ये आएगी हमारी image as a positive real number whenever x would be greater than equal to 1. So the range of this function is r plus. That is one way of writing it, or interval form में आप ऐसे लिख सकते हो. 0 can be your solution, so 0 has been included. All positive real numbers is written like this, 0 to infinity. Alright. Alright, now for the 5th question, children, the function given is fx is equal to modulus of x minus 1. Okay, so x, just think of any real number for which this will not be defined. So any real number minus 1 is a real number and its modulus would be some positive real number. Okay, तो ऐसा कोई भी x नहीं है जिसके लिए ये expression defined नहीं होगा. Is it or not? Okay, denominator 0 नहीं आ रहा है, under root में negative नहीं आ रहा है, so there is no complication out here. X being any real number, we know x minus 1 is also a real number and its modulus would also be a real number only, obviously. Okay, so we are saying this whole expression that has been given to us will be defined for all x being real number. तो ऐसा कोई भी x नहीं है या ऐसा कोई भी real number नहीं है जिसके लिए this expression is going to create problem. So the domain is all real numbers, right? Then for finding the range, now we have said x is a real number, domain हमें पता चल गई. अब हम इस domain के लिए image देखते हैं कैसी आती है. Alright, because collection of images is a range. So x is any real number, okay, because domain was real number. So x minus 1 का modulus would be a positive real number. Because as I said, if x is a real number, x minus 1 is also a real number and its modulus की definition ही वो होती है positive value. Okay, so this image, modulus of x minus 1 is nothing but that's your image or fx is coming out to be a positive real number. So आपका range क्या कहलाएगा? R plus, or from 0 to infinity. Alright, so just go through these examples over and over again, you will understand and you will know how to express it.